Hello, welcome to Are You Going Bald podcast. I am Bri Meeks, the host. Are You Going Bald is just talking about those bald moments and how we get over those moments in life. Today's topic is very, very relatable to all college students. It will be GPA and how it affects us, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically. You know, you never know. I have two wonderful guests here with me today. I have Professor Dr. Hackett. He is a professor at Southern University. He teaches philosophy and then part-time ethics and mass communications. He's really a good teacher. And then I have LSU honor student Shania Pate. She is a marine biology major, well, double major with business. She decided to come here today and be our guest. So we're going to get started. I first would like to share a personal story of mine. When I was at LSUA, my GPA dropped like 1.7. It was really hard. I lost scholarships, lost my financial aid, and I didn't have no money, you know. They almost kicked me out of school as well. But they gave me the option to take summer classes full time. And so I was able to like get my GPA back up to 2.1. Still no financial aid. I even had to do a financial aid appeal. I'm like, dang, man, this GPA stuff sucks. And, you know, the more you get credits and stuff, it's hard to bring that GPA up. And, you know, I think that was my freshman year. And, you know, freshmen at that time, you guys, you need to kind of think of the future as well, because I wish I was on top of my stuff, because even to this day, my GPA is not where it should be. And trying to get internships or possibly scholarships has been very hard for me because where I stand in GPA. So we will start off with a little game. I'm going to give you guys some scenarios. You're going to guess the GPA. I'm not going to give y'all the answers. And then whoever wins, there'll be a prize at the end. So I am going to start with the first scenario. We have college student Derek. He goes to Buki State University in California, Sacramento, California. He is a sophomore student. He works part-time at Home Depot, possibly 20 hours. He hates doing homework, but he does it the day before. He does not study for his tests. He is in extracurricular activities. He is on the hockey team, and he likes to play video games. Now, when he's in class, he don't really pay attention, but when the teacher calls on him, he's still able to answer the question. So do you think he has a low GPA or a high GPA?
Would you like to go first, Dr. Hackett?
You go first.
I feel like he has. Is middle GPA like an option?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry.
I feel like he's like in the middle. I know
Okay.
like for sports you have to have like at least like what? Like a 2.0.
Okay, that's a nice little, you know.
Right, and he go to school in California. It's expensive out there, so I know.
Right. Okay, so mid GPA. Dr. Hackett, what you think?
3.1.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Next scenario. All right, so we have Isabella. She has 25,000 followers on Instagram. She's a little celebrity college student. She's a junior. She goes to Blossom State University in Houston, Texas. She goes to class on time. She does all her homework. She does struggle a little bit mentally because she does got a lot of brand deals, because she do have a lot of followers on Instagram, but she still managed to be high achieving in her work. She is involved in school. She is on Student Government Association. What else? Isabella, she take care of herself mentally, you know, physically too. When she go home, she makes sure her nails is did. She makes sure she look good. She keep that body clean. So what GPA do you think Isabella have?
I feel like she has a high GPA. Probably
Okay.
like 3.8, something
Ooh.
calm.
Okay, little honor student, you know.
Right.
Next student, his name is Grossbert, and he's always, even through high school, he's always failed miserably. He has wonderful parents that encourages him and pay for him to make sure he's in these programs and stuff. And going to college, oh, the college he go to, Black University in Idaho. Okay, he's not involved in sports. He does play video games. He loves watching TV. He's also an artist. So in his art classes, he is one of the best artists in there. He does work full time actually because school is expensive out there. Um, he does not have anxiety when he takes tests. He does study, but he still fails his tests though. He does go to class, not on time. Um, his scores on his tests, some of them are B's, some of them are D's. What GPA do you think Grossbert have?
I'd say he probably has like a 2.7.
Okay.
I feel because he's a hard worker. And he's
Yeah.
an honest student.
Yeah.
It's just his circumstances aren't the best, but he's still trying to make do. Like he still finds a way to balance it all.
Okay.
So, and I know
love
like
that.
depending on like because the colleges matter too. He goes to school in like the middle of nowhere. So
Idaho.
maybe like not the grading scale is different, but maybe the courses that he's taking, they're not as like heavily impacted. Like
Yeah.
a D wouldn't drop it down too bad.
Okay.
Maybe
You like that answer, Shania?
I try.
Dr. Hackett? I know this is very prediction based.
I'm going to say 3.1.
Okay, so I think Dr. Hack is eating it up with the 3.1. He's eating it up. Let's give him a round of applause with the 3.1.
I don't want to overestimate or underestimate the
Right,
students.
right.
That's why I'm going
Okay,
That's very
right.
fair.
We love a professor that thinks that way, okay? Because actually there are some professors at colleges that look, even based off how you dress or whatever, look, if you ain't, they do be kind of judging a little bit, just a little bit. No shade. No shade. I think I've experienced that before, actually.
100%. You
Like,
experience it all the way, like even starting like high school, middle school.
right. They think you play too much. Oh, she don't know nothing. Oh, baby, I just made a B on this
Right.
test. So you really can't say nothing about me, for real.
I feel like a high school teacher's favorite phrase is they won't let this slide in college. This won't go in college.
And I'm in college
and I'm still doing it.
They is letting it slide, but I am sliding harder because even though they're not letting it slide, I do have to be very
Gotta be on it.
right.
P's and
I do
Q's.
because they don't. You gotta be responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, responsible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you was finna say something, Dr. Hackett. Okay. Last scenario. Her name is Destiny. She goes to Southern University. She did start off with a 2.0 GPA in college her freshman year. She works part-time. She's not a good test taker. She still does go to class on time. She does make sure she keeps up with herself mentally, physically, and emotionally, because that is important, students. And she is involved with a couple clubs. She's in art club. She is in mass communications club. And she goes to her teacher's office hours. So what GPA do you think she has?
I'm about to take a page out of his book and do 3.1.
All right. I love that. We like that. Dr. Hackett.
Southern University student, definitely 3.7.
Oh,
Okay.
change. All right, guys. That was some great answers. We don't know who might win a little prize at the end, but those are great answers. Yeah. All right. So on to the questions. All right, Dr. Hackett, we're gonna start with you. Do you feel like GPA is like detrimental for students to succeed.
But it is something I have to record as an employee at a university. No matter which university I work at, I've always had to say this is what this student did for this 15 weeks in this semester, right? So
So you, so you don't think it's really the GPA? It's the student's effort, which is where.
it's a quantification of that effort in a certain time slice of when they're with me, right?
Okay, I like that. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like, with you being a LSU honor student, like, do you feel like that plays a part, or have you ever thought about it with you? Have you always been like a straight A student going into college?
Yeah, coming out of high school, I definitely was a straight A student. I was like juggling a lot, like senior year specific. I was doing dual enrollment. I had an internship, taking AP courses, was in a lot of like clubs and leadership positions in these clubs. And I feel like coming to college, I've definitely struggled a lot, especially being an out of state and honor student. I feel like there's like a certain level of pressure that nobody really talks about because of the fact that one single B could really be the end of a $20,000 scholarship, right?
Right.
So then it's like, will I even be able to afford coming here and staying here
Yeah.
at this school?
Yeah.
And it's been a bit more of a shock for me, especially because you think like juggling all of that in high school, at least for me personally, and then coming to college where I'm only taking like 4 classes and it's only like a class a day or something like that. And I'm struggling 10 times more than having 4 classes every day previously for like the past, like 12 years.
Yeah.
It's been hard, especially now where I'm kind of at a point where I am struggling and really trying to work like my butt off so I don't lose my scholarship. And I've come really close so far. I'm only a sophomore and I'm already faced the like possibility of that happening.
Yeah.
But I agree with Dr. Hackett with saying that like I don't think that GPA should be a pure definition of a person's or a student's like hard work.
Yeah.
Because people with testing anxiety happens. I think a lot of areas in on like a college campus is very anxiety inducing. You have classes with 300 students in one lecture hall. If you're late, the teacher locks the door. You have assignments that are like an essay one day and then you have a major physics test the next day. It just feels like time management has become an essential, and figuring out like what is a priority is like a struggle because you have all these hard classes, you have these really heavily weighted courses, and then of course you have your honors requirement, and then it become overbearing in a sense. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I agree. I just like, even when you go to career fairs, if you're talking to these recruiters and stuff, one of the first questions they sometimes ask, what's your GPA? And they'll even tell me, if you put something below what 3.0, 3.5, the AI, whoever they use to look over the applications, is getting wiped out. And you mentioned scholarships too. Like, what about the students who struggle financially, who do need those resources and stuff, but they just don't reach that requirement? What about those students? And even though they don't know, it does not measure how they are as a person or how they will be as a student, but it is one of those things like, dang, what about them, And then if, in college, if they are struggling, it's not always they don't want to do their homework, or it's a lot of other things that students deal with to try to maintain that, or try to even reach that goal of having a 3.0 at least, so they can get those scholarships or any internship opportunities. And it's hard getting an internship nowadays, even an unpaid internship. So that just be kind of like my thing. And even with you saying with like how high pressure it is for honor students, man, I feel like it's high pressure now. I'm not even an honor student. Like,
Everybody's struggling, I
yes,
feel.
I don't
It's
know if it's
just
in the air or And it's like so like why do you feel like GPA have so much impact? Like I know like when you graduate and all that, okay, your GPA might not matter obviously because you have to update your resume so many times, but why do you feel like GPA just have such impact? Because you know what? They say what were you involved in? What else did you do? But do
Exactly.
y'all really counter that in our applications when where it's admissions for a college, or you are you really just looking at that GPA and then you go on to the impact that these students have made in their community or their school? And I feel like they don't really look at it. I'm writing all this stuff that I done did, and you look at the GPA. So like why does GPA, have such a big impact on us? Like I feel like the point system need to change. It
Hmm.
needs to change. But that's just me. What you think, Dr. Hackett?
There's some good evidence to suggest that the GPA. I have colleagues that teach at BRCC, the Baton Rouge Community College, and I have colleagues who teach with me at Southern, and I have colleagues that teach at LSU. And the fact is, I think that some GPAs may be higher because Southern, like Baton Rouge Community College, counts the same amount of qualification points for an A and a B, a C, and a D that it's just one flat. So if you get an A minus, you get the 12 qualification points. If you get an A plus, you get the same amount of points. At LSU, it might be a little bit more nerve wracking because there's a difference in terms of like A minus versus A plus,
Hmm.
and they're worth more because they track the plus and minuses as to what those mean.
I didn't know that.
Um, so it's possible that it's easier to mean, but not to say that it's easier. That the result of the quantification may be more advantageous to the student at either BRCC or Southern as opposed to LSU because of the added pressure of the plus and minus signs, right? So if a B is worth 9 qualification points typically, right?
Hmm.
B minus might be worth like 8.7 or something like that, right? And it'll be slightly under. So it takes a lot more effort and gradations of those efforts that are tracked by the percentage points when you turn in grades. The reason why GPA is devastating to students, and I always tell my students, my typical general advice is if you're going to go to a postgraduate program, you should always try to have a 3.0 in general. If that is a challenge for the student, then I think that your major classes should at least be over a 3.0. And I'll give you an example. When I was going to apply for graduate school, I had two majors. I was a philosophy and political science student, and I didn't want to do law, but I wasn't too sure if I wanted to be a political theorist or a philosopher. So I applied to one poli sci program at Penn State, Maine. And Penn State, Maine, like many other colleges at that time, now this was 2003, going in 2004. I graduated in May 2003.
You
Um,
wasn't even born.
and your last 2 years of your GPA is what counted for, and that's the typical assumption for some graduate programs is that they don't worry about your freshman or sophomore year. So it really does depend on how the school's graduate program that you're applying to counts the things that you've done. Some programs take the last 2 years. Some programs only take what you did in your major and calculate your GPA, and others just take the cumulative GPA. So there's three different levels of how, if you're trying to get into postgraduate school. Minus that, if you're just talking your standard soft skills corporate sales job where people could have a 275 or a 389, um, if it requires people skills and someone has people skills over GPA, and you could kind of see this with someone who's a really gifted orator or speaker, right? This is where GPA might not even serve anything. But if you're really good at reading the room and reading people, and you have a 275 and a JD from Southern, but you're better at reacting and reading the jury than the person that went to Duke that you're practicing from, there are certain circumstances where, well, everyone's a college student, everyone has these pressures, everyone knows these pressures, but at some point the fact that you both have JDs and passed the Louisiana bar and you're in a trial together with someone who went to Duke and you went to Southern, if you're the better attorney, there's a certain point where GPA doesn't matter at all. It
Okay.
matters on skill and competency of the professional life.
Okay.
So it just really depends on the circumstance. But its immediate impact on undergrads seems to be if you get scholarships for postgraduate education or scholarships during education. And these places don't have anything else to measure your worth by other than what you've done in terms of your work. And that's measured by grades and GPA, right? So.
Can we pause? Oh. All right, guys. We have another special guest. Oh, I was supposed to do the little come on in thing. Yeah, all right. All righty. So we have Ariana Dunn. She goes to Southern University.
Nice to meet y'all.
We have three Southern University people. She is the only LSU, but she repping for the L.
Ooh, LSU?
I do.
Okay.
Wait, but all of my family went to Southern, so I'm affiliated.
Okay.
Ariana is a business major, and she came to join us on this wonderful discussion of GPA. Why or how does GPA have such a major impact on us students? He made really, really great points. Do you ever feel pressured with trying to keep your GPA high?
Most definitely.
So what are those thoughts that's in your head, like, or what do you do to kind of try to maintain your GPA or strive to reach the goal point? Or do you have a goal for your GPA?
I would want to go above a 3.5 at least. Right now I'm at a 3.2.
Okay.
I have financial aid, and to maintain that financial aid, I have to maintain at least a 2.6. So I just try to make sure I keep my grades at least above a C or above, only because I know classes can get so hard. Like a C is probably the best I can do. Like calculus, I can't.
I don't think I ever took calculus. I took statistics.
Calculus is like when you look at them numbers and them letters, it's so confusing. Do you understand calculus? You do. Calculus is so
I have a
hard.
PhD in the humanities. Languages is what I had to do.
Okay.
Right.
But when it comes to math, that stuff is hard.
It is.
Yes.
And also, Dr. Hackett also mentioned the points with the GPA at the schools. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that also plays a part in our curriculum at Southern University versus LSU. So I noticed at Southern, as somebody with a low GPA, the pressure is definitely more higher at LSU.
Yeah.
I don't think I really had that much homework at Southern, but my major is mass communications.
Right.
Your business major, you are. So our homework is probably, but I do notice how strict it is at LSU with my classes at LSU. Them little reflection essays, I don't think I ever had to type that many pages versus Southern University. So that I think that does play a part with how your GPA is calculated. Now, and sometimes you never know with Southern, they might bamboozle your GPA. They mess up with certain
a lot of things.
certain things at times.
Well, not everything, but a lot of things.
We still love our HBCU. So with your GPAs, do you feel like it can affect your confidence? Like, do y'all be thinking about it? Do y'all be feeling like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that?
100%. 100%. Because I know in comparison, I hate to compare because comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes, it
but
is.
In comparison to my roommates who are also STEM majors and are also honor students.
STEM major.
I'm a double major. I'm in business as well.
Ooh.
Yes, I don't know why I did this to myself. But in comparison to them, I look at like my GPA versus theirs. And it's like, dang, I wish I was like them because I know how detrimental that, like you said, like how detrimental a C could be, especially at LSU, where you only need a C to pass, but a C minus isn't the same as getting a
and
C+.
I think your GPA drops.
It does.
It a C.
It does.
You're lying to us. Like,
substantially. Like I currently have a 3.2. Last semester I had 2 C's in 2 courses, and they were both 4-hour credits.
Man.
So my GPA, it dropped like a cool, it went from like a 3.6 to 3.2 just
Oh,
from that.
4 whole points?
Yes.
Oh no.
That's what I'm saying.
See, that's
And
the
it's
issue right there.
really rough, and it's like in the back of my mind I'm always like, oh my gosh, like right now I'm thinking about all the work I have to do. Like I have econ work, I have OChem work, I have like I can't even enjoy my fall break to this full entirety because I'm always worried about the next assignment.
Are you involved on campus too?
I am.
See, yeah, in that place of
Ooh.
like we wanna make money. We
Are you
broke.
working while in
We
school?
wanna
I
be
do. I have a work
involved.
study, so I'm into my work study, and if I'm on campus for 7 hours every
I'm
day.
still learning how to juggle work and school
Right. So how does that look
and
for
personal
you?
life.
So how does it look for you with trying to maintain your grades and stuff like that?
Sometimes I won't have like time to do homework. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I can do it on my breaks at work.
Right.
But on those breaks at work, I'm tired because I'm at work. Like, I need to
Yeah.
take those breaks to relax.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning how to juggle that. I think it all comes with time management. Like, if I just build those time management skills, I feel like I could do better with my grades. But this is just, I'm not saying my grades are bad.
Yeah, of
Nothing's
course
under
not.
nothing's under a C right now. I have like what, 3 A's and a few C's, like 3 C's, 3 A's, 3 C's. That's just right now, though. That's just right now. We're gonna fix it. But
Yeah.
when it comes to work and school, it's something that I still have to learn how to juggle.
Yeah.
And I don't see how some people can have 2 jobs and be in school. Have y'all ever like
Yes.
noticed
And
that?
Yeah.
and like and that plays a part with
The time management, for
yeah,
sure.
the GPA also. Before I add something, Dr. Hackett, do you have any advice with what you heard so far for us students?
Yeah, I most of the time when my students are struggling in my classes, or if it really boils down to we have to have a discussion as to a how you're approaching the material, and B, what are your study habits. I tell my students the study habits that you form freshman and sophomore year will follow you into junior and senior year, and there's this little moment in time after high school where you have to learn how you learn, because you are no the university doesn't cater to a particular student anymore. Like there's no IEP, like learning plans, right? There's no individual learning plans that you'll do. The college students have to respond to all the different pedagogical styles of their instructors, and that can be very daunting and challenging. And then, so I don't really believe in student planners. So when students come to me and say like I'm having trouble visualizing and I'm missing things, and so what I do is I say okay, I come to a student meeting and I print out, like I go like printer, like it's printcalendar.com, and I print out just months for the student, and I say okay, one of the things, if it happens very early in the semester, I say what I want you to do is I want you to go through all your syllabi, and I want you to write down every single date on these sheets of paper. And then I want you to put them in your study cubbyhole or in your dorm room or wherever you are. And you can have a visual record of the entire semester as to what you need to do. And if you keep returning to this space as your study space, right? Like a certain, like the dorm carousel where you have your little lamp and you can put your laptop up or whatever.
Right.
And I say, visualize your semester and then try to see, then break it down week by week. It's actually not that daunting once you could visually see in visual chunks what you need to do in order to succeed, right? And if you're aware of things and you can see the big picture, the small details kind of get a bit filled in and they don't miss, right? When I design a course that's online versus face to face, I have things regimented. Like I basically make a class so that my students probably need to log in twice a week at minimum, maybe sometimes even more, right? So that they don't miss these things, because there's a date that things open, there's a time when things close. So what I'm really hearing is time management, and you are not the first generation to find themselves inundated with such costs of higher education that you also need to have part-time jobs.
Yeah.
You might not realize this, but European universities are largely subsidized by their government where students don't need to take out massive amount of loans so that they're in debt, but they're also getting in debt while going to school. And it's possible to negotiate the costs of going to a university and maybe have a less stress in terms of its cost, so those students don't need to work as much. But when they are subsidized by the state in terms of, like, say, Germany, it's also harder to get into universities. So the flip side of us is we've democratized university education so much that you can get into a program. There's a program for everybody for a bachelor's degree in the United States. But the trade-off is that we've pushed costs onto students to borrow or get Pell or however they qualify for financial aid. And then, of course, that's the stress of what Miss Dunn was talking about, right? In the university, we call it making steady progress. And the track is you can only take out loans or receive Pell Grants or financial aid from the federal government if you're making steady progress towards your degree. So that's the reason why when a student has a bad GPA and goes on probation, that it affects their funding, because there are statutes by how the school, when it receives that federal money, it's basically an intermediary between the federal programs, but it administers them locally to the students. And then it has to have built-in processes by statute. Like, so when a student goes on probation, they might lose certain percentage of their funding. I don't know the statutes myself, right? But I recognize that they do exist. And if you don't make steady progress, you can lose your funding, and you'll have to go through some sort of remediation to get back at that level again, right?
Yeah, you do.
So, time management's a big concern for most of my students when their grades suffer, and it's a question of how do you negotiate all the pressures of I'm working 2 part-time jobs. And since I have spent 9 years in the HBCUs, sometimes it's something a little bit more intimate. Like, it's like I'm being raised by my grandmother, but now it's my turn to pay for things, and I live with my grandma, and I'm working 2 part-time jobs and trying to go to school and become a nurse, for instance, or whatever. And I want to make a better life for us, but you know what I mean? So sometimes there might be more challenges of students who have much more financial pressures and are more vulnerable because they come from a lower socioeconomic status bracket. And they're middle class, upper middle class, there's something about a cushion of being able to afford not to be able to work so you can go to school and maintain a high GPA, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, not all situations are created equal is basically what I'm saying. And those pressures can affect students and the decisions they make, right? Like, as Miss Dunn was saying, like, I might study the Shakespeare sonnet on my break.
Right.
I don't know what
that shit don't happen.
what you're doing, but you're like, if you're working like soft lines at Macy's and you're in charge of putting back clothes or something,
You're tired by the time your break gets there.
Right.
Like, you don't feel like studying.
I can't read Shakespeare now. And then you're just gonna TikTok on your phone, right? And
or go to sleep.
Just decompress.
Because the breaks are never long
Yeah, you
enough
might
to
want-
begin with.
At all.
It all depends on how you're living your life too, right? Those things do have concrete effects, and it's there's not one solution fits all.
Yes.
Also, right?
I'm gonna answer the last question, and then I'm gonna ask y'all some questions.
Okay.
With me having a low GPA, confidence, yes, I always second guess myself, like, and sometimes I want to look to my teachers to maybe, like, go to their office hours to talk to them and stuff. But I have learned that if you do have a low GPA and you are trying to get those internships or scholarships or whatever, just create opportunities for yourself. I think that's one of the main things that I've been doing. You don't have to wait for someone to help you or give you a job. You need to learn on your own. Do your research. Go to the library. There are so many resources at the library for students, people in general. And that's what been keeping me afloat. And sometimes being a self-starter with organizations and stuff, have your own requirements. Build off of that and go from there. You never know where you might go. And although you may not get certain opportunities, I think you need to look at it from a unique perspective. Like, you stand out. Okay, you may not be up there, but hey, you still a baddie, and not in a physical sense, but mentally.
Yeah.
Like, you're working, you're involved in school, you're doing this. You may not meet that GPA, but hey, like, you still doing your thing. So create opportunities for yourself and don't give up. Now, for people who may struggle financially, get you a sit-in service job, all right? Do your homework while you at these sit-in service jobs. Get your stuff up. Now, there are some scholarships that I have seen that the GPA may be a 2.7. I don't see a lot of those scholarships. And yeah, get you a sit service job. If you need money, get you a sit service job. Those type of jobs do help with students like me. I've been having a sit service job for a long time. And you don't really do nothing for, so that time where I don't do nothing with the clients, I'm doing my homework. Those are habits that I've developed because at first I know that my habits of not going to class on time or showing up, those definitely have affected me. And then learning from those, I would never do that again. Yeah. So, have you find that high GPA open scholarship opportunities?
Yes, but it's not enough. And that kind of circles back to what we were talking about making sure that you're really involved in stuff, because you could be very smart. Like, I'm talking
Right.
like 4.25, top of the class, valedictorian, all that stuff. But it's like, if all you're worried about is working on your studies and doing homework and stuff, a lot of times the scholarship opportunities are very like limited, because they want experiences.
And they ask you for a lot of questions, right?
Exactly.
Do you feel like there should be a requirement for people to apply to those scholarships if it's not a lot?
100%. I really do. I feel like because you may not be book smart, that doesn't mean that you can't add and contribute to spaces that you are involved in.
Okay. What
Like,
about you, Ari? I'm sorry. Did I cut you
No,
off?
you're good. You're good.
Have you applied to some scholarships, or have you felt like, oh no, I'm not gonna get it?
I have.
Okay.
Sometimes. I want to say, especially with, I know we're not talking about internships,
You can talk about
but internships.
yeah.
Those are the main people
Right.
that look for a high GPA.
Yes, they
and it's
do.
like, I already have the experience. So how come my GPA is going to hold me back? I'm just in school because I have
Right.
to have this degree
Exactly.
that says that I'm certified, but I already have the experience because I've already been working since I was 14.
Yeah.
So it's like, do we really need to, does the GPA really have to matter for a scholarship either?
Yeah.
Or
Internships.
you know what I'm saying? I need the money to go to school.
Right.
You know that everybody doesn't have the same financial situation.
Yeah.
So I feel like the requirements for a scholarship, I feel like they should be a little bit less, what do I want to say? Less harsh. Because sometimes you can aim to meet all those requirements for those scholarships and you still won't get that scholarship.
That's
It's like
another
somebody else
thing.
will get it.
Yes.
It's like they seem very scarce. Like they're very rare to obtain.
It is.
Very, very hard to obtain. And I try. I've
Yeah.
tried to apply for different scholarships, but I just haven't. Like, they have a lot of writing ones.
Girl 5 is
Right. A cover
Pages,
letter, a
50
resume.
pages. What you mean 50 pages?
Right. That's an assignment.
What you need my resume for?
And you mentioned you've been working I've been working since I was 16, but you say you mentioned you was working since you were 14. Like, how was your academic level, like, in high school going into college? Has it been the same,
I
or?
feel like it would have most likely been better if I wasn't working.
Yeah.
But, of course, with working, it takes away from office hours in college. In high school, it takes away from study time.
Yeah.
You have to get up earlier in high school for school.
For 8 classes.
Yes,
Yes.
8. There's more classes, and you have to get up more early.
Yeah.
Then I didn't have my own way of transportation then, so that made
and that
it
plays a
even
big part for our
harder.
students.
Yes. But I did need those. I needed the funds.
Yeah.
I had to do what I had to do, but I made sure that I didn't have like D's or anything like that.
and you
It
still
was just,
manage,
yeah.
and that's good.
It's like you built up that good habit. Like you built up good habits from an
Right.
early
Yeah, because I
age.
mean, hey, when you make a D, that's not passing. So it's like you have to strive to make at least a C or above. And then I went to a magnet school, so they're not accepting
Oh yeah, I
no
never been at a
Yeah.
magnet
D's.
school.
That's so much work.
Yeah.
It's so much work. Um, but yeah, I feel like when it comes to scholarships, they need to try to make it a little bit more easily accessible. I feel like they don't make it easy enough to access. Like they have a bunch of opportunities. It's just that it seems more easy to obtain than it actually is. Like they
Right.
say, oh, there are a bunch of scholarship opportunities. Then when you get to it, it's like all these different requirements, and you could.
And
I could go
everybody
on
has
and on
different
and on and on.
experience. You know, the stuff they be asking. Do you have a horse in your backyard?
No,
Why would
No, I don't. Like,
what does that
come on, just
matter?
give me the money.
have y'all been able to obtain a
Wait,
scholarship?
wait, have
No.
have you been applying lately? Have you applied to scholarships?
I haven't lately. I
Okay.
kind of lost just
We're
a
gonna
little hope.
encourage you to do that if you want to.
Of course.
I have, and they was asking for a recommendation letter. I don't even think the teacher did it. Like,
Wow.
Like, that's
She didn't want to help.
no, I think teachers are really busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now, they're like managing a weight. Like there's so many.
And they have so many students. So like I'm not mad at it at all. But it's like, but with those moments, like with that, that's like an incomplete application.
Yeah.
So and like even when they hold stuff like that, it's like, dang, you know what? It's all right. You know, I'll try again next time.
Right.
I had the privilege where I didn't really have to come out of pocket for school, and that has helped me to try to focus more on school. But I still be trying to get the money, and
Yeah.
Of course. 'Cause
You
you have
know.
a life outside of school.
Exactly.
take care
and
of.
with
Have
these
apartments,
internships,
cars.
exactly, and
like
with
that.
these internships and stuff as well, like. Some of them, they don't even pay you.
They don't.
And they're asking for certain things and stuff. So do you feel like, okay, first question for everybody, do you feel like they should lower the GPA requirements or the essay questions for scholarships? If they do, what do you think it should be?
If they lower the GPA requirements, I feel like it should at least be like a 2.8.
All right.
I know that's risky, but I know that's risky to say. But I feel as though you have to show some kind of effort. It can't be too low. You can't let the bar be too low. Or it's going to be somebody, mind you, because they have people that apply for scholarships and they don't actually need them. So,
Oh, that's
Right.
too late.
yeah,
Right,
we
they
have
just
to
be
make
doing
sure
it.
there's at least some kind of requirement.
Wait, so you're
then-
saying people with low GPAs just don't give a crap about school at all?
No, not saying that.
Do you feel like there are low?
saying
do you
that.
feel like they're hard workers or they're not?
Okay, let me say this. Okay, maybe it should be like financial aid where you have to maintain a 2.6. I'll change that.
Oh no, that was just a question to ask, you know, because a lot of people do like if you got low GPA, oh she don't do nothing in school, like or,
No, I'm just saying from personal experience, I've been able to maintain a 2.6 or at least a 2.6 or above. And that you have to make sure that your overall GPA is a 2.6 or above. So I feel like as long as you're doing that, you should be able to obtain one of those scholarships. So I feel like it should be the same as it is for financial aid because it's financial aid. That's
yeah,
what
I
a
think the bar
scholarship
is really
is.
low. It's 2.0.
So I feel like it should have the same requirements as financial aid. I feel like that makes sense. I don't know. They're both aiding you with your financial, with the financial part of college. So why not have the same requirements?
Right. Dr. Hackett.
I guess it depends on what the scholarship is for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a scholarship to get more students into a profession because
Yeah.
there's a lack of people graduating with that degree not doing that profession, right? So you have to ask what the scholarship money is for and the organization that's giving the scholarship.
Right.
You know, if it's not, or if there are restrictions. So like, say I was a billionaire and I went to Southern and I was really happy with my experience and I made a fortune in but my degree was agricultural science, right? And I went to the ag college and all that. And so I give $500,000 for people to be a certain profession in agricultural science because maybe there's not as much chicken scientists out there. I don't know what. I really don't know. I'm making this up as I go. Um, some scholarship money will be freed up, and it'll just be like, oh, you need a 2.5 or 2.6, as you guys were saying, which
Right.
you just need to have a C average, and you're just geared towards this. But if it's something like agricultural chicken scientist, most science programs need people who have over a 3.0
Right.
just to give graduate funding to the young people who are going to be their lab techs or research assistants. So
Okay.
there's some level of tracking merit and also what the money is for, where it's coming from, and what's its ambitions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's very few scholarships I can get today, but if you're a professor and you get a Fulbright to go study at Cambridge, that's pretty prestigious if you could pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And very few people in that applicant pool might be able to pull that off. So supposedly they're taking the best, depending on what the people are doing, what field of study it is, etc. If someone's praised as up and coming or whatnot. So
What about the
I don't
ones who
really
are not
know.
the best?
I don't really know how to adjudicate all the different ways in which money is awarded to say that it should be lower or higher.
Okay.
Right.
I guess I kind of like. Okay, at one point I was like entertaining going to Harvard. Not for realsies. Not for realsies. They
Not
don't
for
have my
realsies.
major, but just to see if I could get in. And when they did send the information and stuff, I noticed that a lot of these Ivy Leagues and what have you, or like very, I guess like recommendable, I guess, institutions, they offer financial aid for every single person. It doesn't matter what your household income is, everybody will get some money. You could have over $1 million and you'll still get a cute little $5,000 package,
Oh,
even though you
wow.
don't need it. Right. So I think that I feel like for not as like highly ranked universities, like say for example LSU is not that highly ranked, like
It's not.
nationwide, but it's just so
Yeah.
rah rah. I think that if you are able to, especially with the amount of students that they accept, they should have the same like leniency to try and offer financial aid to every single student, even if it isn't a lot. Or they may
Yeah.
not necessarily need it. Like a lot of these students, they're here on tops and whatnot. They get refunds and whatnot.
Same.
Yeah.
These funds, although it is good for them to get back because, I mean, college is hard.
Yes.
Life is rough. Things are expensive. Right. I feel like the fact that they are able to allocate funds to refund students, the same thing could be given for people like me who are out of state. If I don't have my scholarship, that's $40,000 a year.
Ooh.
Right. I don't have that type of money. I barely have the type of money to pay what I pay right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think that they could just be a lot more lenient, especially when it comes to these, because if they were able to get into the school, why not make opportunities for them to continue to do their education here?
Ari wanted to share something. Did you have an idea or something?
Yeah, I felt like when it comes to the scholarships and the internships, I feel like they should ask what your employment status is. Not to discourage them, but just to see where you are financially. Just so you can allude to it just a little bit, so they can understand a little bit more of your situation. They could also ask like your income range, just so they can be a little bit more aware of your situation. They could also ask like how your school, like how your financial situation is towards school is looking. Because without that, I feel like they don't really have much to go off of, and they kind of it's kind of like a poor judgment on who they should reward with the scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my idea. I feel like they don't get intimate enough.
Okay. Y'all all made some great points. Thank you, Dr. Hackett and Shania and Ari. What are some ways you've shown leadership outside the classroom, or what are some ways that you can try to?
Well, I think like one of the main ways is probably like making more safe spaces for people outside of academics, especially in college. You know, one thing I struggle with being out of state and being 1,000 miles from home was actually making friends and starting to get accustomed to such a big change.
Yeah.
So I think like creating those spaces, those opportunities for people who might be experiencing the same thing could kind of help ease on some of the anxiety that is associated with coming to big universities or really hard, taking hard classes or majoring in really tough subjects. And that could also contribute to raising somebody's GPA because, I mean, the less stressed they are, the
That's
more
true.
calm, the more like
Right.
in a
More
better
study
mental space.
groups.
Exactly. Having people who can relate with you in classes.
Encouragements.
Exactly.
Let's encourage everybody, no matter what GPA you have.
Yes, a sense of community is essential in order
Yeah.
to actually succeeding in any aspect.
And a teacher needs to know how to adapt their teaching strategies. Like if a student's telling you that they don't understand what you're talking about, you need to like try to meet with them. Especially if a student is telling you that they're so confused they don't even know what questions to ask. A lot of students, they don't even know how to say that. They're just like, oh, I don't know anything, but you're not telling. I mean, I don't think teachers really look that deep. They're just
They
like,
pressure
you're lazy.
too. They get
You're
moved a
lazy.
lot
They do.
with majors and stuff. They picking on courses they ain't never taught before. They got you looking all
That's the thing.
excited.
Teachers need to know how to I feel like teachers need to be self-aware of the fact that sometimes a subject might be hard to teach. I feel like you could communicate that with your students.
Yeah.
And then y'all could work together, like the student and the teacher can meet each other in the middle.
All right.
Not one going like 80%, the other one's coming 20%. I feel like everybody should meet each other halfway.
Yes.
We're in the same position. It's just different sides. Like they're administration, we're students, but we still make up the school, so we have to work up together. We have to work together. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a teacher right now. My hardest subject is accounting.
Don't tell me that.
I did not think accounting was that hard. And then as we go deeper into the lessons, each class is a new lesson. Okay? So if you didn't understand it that day, we're going to go to the next thing. You're not going to understand the next lesson. Because guess what? You have to remember the last lesson to be able to move forward. And she's like, oh, y'all are lazy and this, that, and the third. I'm like, some of us really like, we struggle with time management. Like I have to go to work. I have things going on at home. I have to make way in and outside of school. So it's like sometimes understanding and having extra time to study accounting, because I already don't understand it. It's like I kind of need you to work with me instead of calling me lazy.
Yeah.
Don't call me lazy. If I'm coming here and I'm telling you I don't even know what to ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, y'all are lazy. Instead of saying, okay, maybe it is a little bit hard to teach. Maybe it's a little bit hard to understand. You know?
Right.
She even admitted that we're not going to learn what it is by just sitting in class. And I feel like at that point, that's when you know we need to meet each other halfway. But that's all I had to say.
Okay, quick question then. How do you think students can meet teachers halfway?
Well, communication.
All right.
100%. Because a lot of these teachers, they've been doing this for ages. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they've been teaching this subject for 20 years on. They don't really know, like, it's something like they know that the back of their hand. It's hard for somebody who doesn't know anything to learn from somebody who's just like, oh, this is like light work.
Yeah.
And I think communication would definitely be a good way of doing it. Maybe even suggesting ways like, okay, well, I've been talking to my classmates and a lot of us are more like auditory learners. Could you possibly, recommend some like videos on YouTube or like some books, like audiobooks that could help us like really absorb what you're teaching in class, because you're going so fast. We have the PowerPoint slides, but
Right.
nothing's making sense without you actually explaining
Put the slides on our website.
it. Yes, please put it on, put it online.
Please.
'Cause what am I gonna do? Like,
Make sure your video
I
links
put my
work.
chapter summaries inside Canvas.
and you are very appreciated.
Dr. Hackett, can I be like, you do? Or I can't say that. Does that violate HIPAA?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Does that violate HIPAA if I be like that you do post the slides on Canva?
No, it doesn't violate. It only violates FERPA if we talk about a specific student and what their efforts are.
Yeah.
But I can say, there used to be an ancient belief that, like, if you put your lecture notes or your slides in Moodle or Canvas, that the students won't come to lecture. Rather, I give everything I develop inside my classes, I give to my students because why not?
Right.
You know?
Because you never know the person's circumstance. Like,
We
I
need the extra
agree.
time.
Yes.
But I can say something about Dr. Hackett though. Um, I feel like you're very hands on and you're very communicative with
We
us. Like
need that in school.
you always send us
Yes,
emails.
really.
I love reading what you have to say to us. And so like I think you're very, I like your teaching style. And I watch the YouTube videos too while I'm cooking or cleaning. I watch the YouTube videos.
I always thought that, like, do you think someone's at the gym, like, wanting to know what Kant's categorical imperative is in an ethics
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
class? When I'm like, they have their earbuds in, they're like, are they listening to their professors? Or,
Yeah.
sometimes, but I'm starting to, like, put links to podcasts when I find something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I do podcasts. I rarely make students buy books anymore. I like to just put the materials in Canvas. And there's a thing called fair use where I can do that as long as I don't use an entire book.
Yeah.
I can use a small percentage of sources, right?
So at that point, what you need to buy the book for?
Exactly.
It do come out of our tuition. Do y'all books come?
No, you have to pay that out of pocket.
Okay.
I have paid like $500 for like one class.
Oh, yeah, no. And then y'all don't even use the full book.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I mean it. Yeah. I keep stopping the conversation. Dr. Hackett, did you have anything else to add?
I'm just smelling these oils.
Dr. Hackett, did you have anything else to add?
Is it golden sand?
Only that I like the conversation around GPA. I like students to be mindful of it.
Yeah.
But there are, at the end of the day, you know what they call, here's an old joke that can kind of couch the conversation.
All right.
Do you know what they call the last graduate of Harvard Medical School?
Last man standing.
Like the one with the lowest GPA, the one with the lowest class standing. You know what they call that person?
Last man
Harvard
standing.
graduate? I mean,
No, they call him doctor.
oh.
Wow.
That was good. That was good. That was
So we
good.
are still
Again, class rank, GPA, these things matter and they should be mindful within the context where they can affect you directly. But they're not the sum total of a student's worth.
Yeah.
And if I were to tell you a story of a young man who wanted to be an art teacher of all things,
you.
my first major was art education. I wanted to be an art teacher in K through 12.
I can see that.
And studio. So all my friends were like playing these games in the dorm room, like D&D, that kind of stuff. And here I am on a Saturday night. It's like 8 p.m. and I'm drawing this still life. And I said, screw it. I don't want to be in the studio. And the studio art in college is a lot different than doing it in high school where it was fun.
Yeah.
So, and it was a lot of work. It's basically they spend as many hours in a studio doing their still lifes as the kids who are doing architecture, learning CAD and doing drawings of buildings, right? And they're, if you ever have architecture major friends, they're in the building.
All the time.
A couple of my friends that went to Kent State were architecture majors, and they didn't have a social life. There are some majors where that happens, right? So
I can see it.
again, just know that like GPA does matter. You should be mindful of it, but at the same time, some things that you do in life require you to have a certain skill and grit. So sometimes it's resilience, grit, more than it is the actual measurement of a time slice of what someone judges as your potential. So
last question from my honor student. What advice would you give students aiming
Honor
for high
student?
GPA? Yes. What advice would you give students, and what are the requirements to be an honor student?
To be an honest student, you have to
You scored a
write.
30 on the ACT.
I didn't take the ACT. I took the SAT because I'm from up north, so we don't really do ACTs.
So you had a high SAT score.
It was decent. It was calm. It's like a little 1290.
Can we ask?
It was 1290.
Ooh.
I wanted something higher. My goal was a 1350, but
All
it
right.
didn't quite work out.
What
But
advice do you have?
I would say definitely work on some time management skills while you're still there, because I
Yes.
procrastinate heavily even now.
Yes. Me too.
If you're like a senior in college, Not college, sorry. A senior in high school, sorry. A senior in high school.
Oh, okay.
Like going into college.
Go ahead and start getting that stuff together now.
Have it ready by junior year. So all senior year doing is applying, honestly. I think all the tours and visiting, stuff like that, have like your head, like a mindset already set on like a certain couple of schools. I wung it. I'm not even gonna lie. I applied to only 4 schools. And this is the only school I applied for honors college.
Oh.
Exactly.
Is it different for different colleges?
It is.
Oh.
So for LSU, you had to do it's just an essay, a 1-page essay, along with your personal statement, stuff like that. Just basically about your achievements, anything that makes you stand out from the crowd. So
Right.
be
What
involved.
made you stand out from the crowd? Did you have to answer that for LSU?
I did.
So what did you
I
put?
talked about my senior year. Senior year, like I already kind of discussed, I was doing an internship with UMD, the geology department.
Internships in high school.
I was in science and tech, so it was a part of my school program.
That's awesome.
I had to write like a 50-page paper on experiment.
Woo!
Yeah, it's 5
How do we
chapters
navigate
long.
through that?
It's literally like a thesis, honestly. So, and then I was also doing a job. I was doing dual enrollment, vice president of an honor society,
you should
president of SGA. Like I was involved. You had to be very heavily involved.
Yes.
I did sports in school.
Oh, what
I
you
have
do,
like
track?
I did do track. Yeah.
So you definitely wasn't working.
I was working.
You
I
worked
worked
in
a
high
job.
school, too?
Yeah, I had a half day. So when I didn't go to school, I worked full time. And then when I did go to school, I worked part
All
time.
of that.
Yeah,
Give me advice.
and it's like that's
Seriously.
why it's such like a shock. Like coming to college, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling, and I only have like 4 courses. But then you think about, I'm taking OChem, genetics, I did microbiome.
And those classes are 4 credits?
They're 4 credits, and then like 3 hours of your
Is
time.
that 20 credits?
I'm taking 17 right now, and
Wait.
17 next
Woo.
semester too.
Oh yeah, you did say 4 classes.
Yeah, and I
That'd
take econ as
Mr.
well.
Ken, just
and
go
I'll
ahead and
take
charge
be
me
like
extra.
16 if it was 4 classes.
yeah, 4 classes. It was like last semester was only 14 for 4 classes. It depends because they're
Why?
weighted weird. Like I have a lab, it's only 1 credit, but then a lecture's 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's give Shania a bit.
Seriously.
Keep going.
you.
She needs to keep it up. Look, he's
Friend.
I'm trying. I think definitely try your best not to be as holed up. You have to like make time to study and accept the fact that you're probably not going to get as much sleep, or you have to, opportunity cost is a really big thing. I
Right.
think it's like, okay, I may not be able to go to every party every weekend, but if I get an A in this class, I won't have to take this class. Or if I do really good in this one, I might get exempt from this one. And it cuts down on the amount of time you have to be in school, which is less money, which means that you can
were a
move on.
scholar. You
Yes.
still are a scholar.
Yeah,
What?
that's awesome.
Honors.
But I think it's also accepting the fact that things may not always go to plan. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to graduate in 4 years while doing this double major. It's
Right.
looking like I might have to be a 5th-year senior, and that's okay because achievement is
At
still
least
done.
it's not 6.
We're gonna hope it won't be. We don't know yet.
It's not gonna be. I have faith. I have faith in you.
What about you? What advice do you have for the students?
Time management. Get that time management together and communicate with them professors. If you can't
Yeah.
communicate with your professors, communicate with your classmates.
What about job-wise for students who work jobs and trying to do that?
Communicate with your job.
Okay.
If you need a job and your job that you're with, the job that you're at is not cooperating with you, try to find a different job
Yeah.
that will cooperate with you. Yeah.
Sorry.
She said, look, she's going to slip that in there every time.
Service.
Do your homework at the desk.
Yes. But that is all, I feel like. And you have to, don't get discouraged either.
Aww.
You have to keep going.
That's so real.
Let's give Aria. She's doing wonderful in class as well. She's such an awesome person.
I try.
She's doing a great job. Another claps for her.
Go Jaguars.
Yeah.
Go Jaguars.
I'm just going to say this again. Create opportunities for yourself and you keep pushing. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel and you are still amazing. That is it with Are You Going Bald podcast. Oh, I got to announce the winner for the prize. Drum roll, please. Shania. Hey!
I'm probably gonna donate it to Ari though.
Oh.
I got a friend.
We don't know what's gonna happen with that gift.
Uh-oh.
Thank you everyone for watching. The link in the description box is below for the Instagram, the link to everything. Also, students, if you have any questions on other topics that we should talk about, and your struggles with GPA, please comment down below. All right? Are you going bald? No, not today. Have a blessed one.